What's going on, guys? Welcome to the kind of the first really Shoky Builders showcase of the year, and here we are all the way in December. So I'm doing good. And tonight, or this morning, whichever it is for you guys, for me, it's kind of late-ish on a Saturday. We've got Mike Z over here for Z's Romper Stompers from the Facebooks. He's okay. It's funny because you're sitting back. It looks like we're trying to keep your identity a secret because your face. He's an FBI. He's in the FBI witness protection back there. That's funny.
Is that better?
Nope, because it's the lamp over your shoulder that's making you disappear. It's funny. So we had some tech issues. There we go. Now it's all belly.
Now I
We're
feel
good.
like I'm Spotlight.
Yeah. Hey, Spotlight's better than nothing. The more light you can add, it don't matter. We don't need to see your face as much as we need to see the cool things you've built out of plastic. So, if you want to tell the people a little bit about yourself and how you got into building and whatnot, by all means, because I've only really got to know you ever so slightly in the last couple of weeks we've been talking.
Well, I grew up building models, basically. My dad showed me when I was a little kid, probably starting around 6 or 7. I bought my first models. He showed me how to glue them together and start painting them. Even then, I was already doing stuff like getting fabric for the seats of the cars.
Nice.
And wires for the engines, and I probably built every car that ever showed up at the Autorama. I don't know how many of you remember the Autorama, and I don't even know if it's still going on, but it used to be once a year it would show up here at the Salt Palace. I live in Salt Lake, Utah.
Yeah.
And the old Salt Palace, every year the Autorama would show up, and these cars would come, the Cherry Bomb and the Addams Family wagon.
Yep.
And oh god, there was a whole bunch of them.
The Monster
And
Mobile.
Revell made a whole bunch of those kits. I built all of those.
Mm-hmm.
I built a lot of airplanes and put bottle rockets on them and shot them into the air, blew them up. I built a lot of battleships and put them out on a pond and blew those up with gasoline. All of which I am not advocating, by the way. We should probably say that right out front. Anything that I do, you should not do yourself, because you may lose fingers.
Yeah.
Then I kind of dropped out of the hobby for quite a while. I became an engineer. And then started racing RC cars for a long time. Designed some parts for those. Won a few awards here and there. Raced professionally for a couple of years. And then found myself managing a hobby store. One of the store I used to go to as a little kid, actually.
Oh, wow.
And in the back room, I found these kits by a company I'd never heard of called Bandai. And that was, that was probably right around 2007. And I found a Faz, F-A-Z-Z, Faz.
Yep. We know what that is on this channel.
The owner of the hobby shop, he had hired me because of my RC experience, but he had no idea I knew about plastic models too. And when I asked him about them, he said, well, they don't sell. So I opened that Faz kit and my jaw just dropped. All I had ever seen before in plastics was the old Revell and AMT and MPC kits. And they're even the Revell ones, some of them were molded in plastic, but for the most part, most of the pieces don't fit. And if you want it to look good, you got to do a lot of modification.
Oh yeah, certainly not snap fit like a
exactly.
Bandai.
exactly. So here is this kit full of parts, and everything just fits. It just blew my mind. And I was sold on Gundams from that moment on. Um,
Wow, back in
I built that
2007.
Faz and I set it on the counter at that hobby shop, and we sold out of them in a week.
You know, it's
And
funny.
since then, now we have a huge contingent of Gundam fans here, and that same hobby store, though it's moved and changed ownership, Gundam is now their biggest selling item.
Oh yeah, that was the same story here for the most part, because probably in that same time span, like early 2000s, the kits were new here, so to speak, but nobody knew what they
Yeah,
were. They see them
yeah.
in comic book stores. I don't think I ever saw them in my model shops because I like yourself. I also, my dad got me into model building, but then my uncle also got me into building cars. Actually, like really kind of fostered my love for automotive things like that. Plus, he introduced me to the AMT kits and stuff like that. My first ever build was the Viper RT10 kit from like way back when.
Hmm.
But then Gundam came into my life only back in like 2013. Now, had I known about it, earlier, I definitely would have jumped on the bandwagon. But like, say, our hobby town or other model shops around here is the same thing. Like, nobody really knew what Gundams were. The older guys from the IPMS guys were coming in, and they were, they're sticking to their stuff, their planes, their ships, their tanks. And then once we started putting our builds on display alongside theirs, they started getting interesting, and several of them really got into Gundam building and things like that, or just out completely getting outside of the stuff they knew. And the first time I showed up with Sazabi Verka back there, they were blown away because they didn't even know snap fit with color separation and all that was a thing. And like same guys, probably your roundabout your age too, that have been doing the same thing for so long, and then they're like, whoa, what is this?
It was amazing to me. Those you got to think we're talking that I was building kits in the 70s,
Yeah,
and those kits were just you'd glue a couple parts on, you wait till tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. um I've actually
you know,
got
as simple as that. You glue the heads on the engine,
oh
okay,
yeah,
you're done tomorrow.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You put the manifolds on, and then you're done till tomorrow.
And even when I was young, I was not good with my amount of glue I put on things, so it could take even longer because you put way too much glue on. I actually still have, actually, I have a lot of the car models that I either built or were still in my backlog, or at my parents' house. But I brought my two Back to the Future DeLoreans, like the newer ones they did at like 2004, 2005. So that was supposed to be one of my projects. Finish the one I started way back when I was still building those things, and then like build the other one that is untouched with my new skills, like, and see my different levels. I thought that would be kind of fun as a video. But um actually, I like talking to people who've been building models forever. Like you and my buddy Dion would probably get along famously because model builder and RC guy. So he just in the last couple of years, while working at Hobbytown, got into the RC rock climbing and RC drifting and stuff like that, which has just exploded lately.
Yeah,
So
yeah, climbing, the rock crawling has really gotten big. I never got
yeah,
into that. To me, it looks kind of cool, but yeah.
I see the I
When
could
I got when I got divorced, I had to get out of the RC hobby. It was a little too expensive.
yeah. That's why I've got enough hobbies. That's why I didn't get into RC. Like, I've got to do these things. I've got all these other robots over here. Not to
Yeah,
mention the other types of model kits. Like you saw my My Star Destroyer I just did. That was not a cheap kit by any means. Um, Fun kit, fantastic, and I learned some new stuff
But
while building it.
the scavenger was in no way cheap.
Oh, yeah, I was going to get to that question eventually. So, guys, the main reason we are here, is to look over his, was it 1/32 ish scale
Yeah.
Scavenger, and it's mostly a scratch build slash kit bash, correct?
Uh, kit bash.
Yeah.
More kit bash.
Okay, so there's a lot of kit bashing in it. So,
Yes.
the original image we're gonna look at here, I'm starting over at the top. You can see what's on the screen. Uh, so was this your original inspiration? The little kind of battle droid thing?
Um, Basically, that is what came to mind when I first saw the MLEV kit.
Okay.
So if you go forward in the album a bit, you'll get to the
Okay.
M. Okay, so there's the polypod balls. Those are the upper legs.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you here before we get too far. Okay. So you got the MLev that's coming up here. Okay. So how many different kits roughly went into this before we get too far?
Well, there's the MLEV.
Okay. So
Um,
that's assume this
there's the
guy. That's
yeah.
the okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
when I first saw that online, what came to mind was that scene from Star Wars.
Oh yeah. I could see that.
Okay, so that's what started the whole thing. I saw the MLev online, and immediately in my brain flashed that scene from Star Wars in Attack of the Clones with all the Jedi in the middle of that Coliseum and all of the drones headed towards them.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of these in that crowd, and the MLev sparked that in my mind, and I knew that's what I could build out of it. I could make what I was thinking was a PG ball.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, well, what could I use for legs? And I don't know what brought to mind the Kshatriya, but that's what became the legs. So basically, there's the MLev, the Kshatriya, and that's by Steel Legends. That
Okay.
was a
Okay.
metal build kit, so it's already built.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to take it apart and repaint it and put it back together.
I bet that was fun.
Um, it wasn't.
Sarcasm. Yeah. So just jumping into the pictures here. So that's where you've got the wing binders off here.
Yeah, that was when the Kshatriya first arrived.
Oh, that's
So this
assembling
whole
it.
thing is, well, it's already assembled. I'm
Okay.
just pulling it out of the box.
Okay,
And
that's
that
a great
was just
picture.
to show people, okay, this is where I'm headed.
Oh yeah. What is that in the background that's all lit up?
That is
Is it PG?
that's my cycle ball.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, I just realized that how you're looking at it, you probably can't see at all. It's so tiny. So we've got
Yeah, it's
the
so tiny.
Imlev outer shell kind of sitting on top of the Kshatriya, so you're envisioning that is
Yeah,
huge.
it
That,
is. It's really big.
oh, by
That
the
that that was the one thing that I just really hadn't planned on when I ordered that MLev kit.
mhm.
I really didn't have any idea how big it was. When I got it, I was just shocked. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, what have I done?
Uh-huh.
And you
Uh,
got to understand this project's about almost 2 years in the making.
yeah.
I first saw that MLev kit about 2 years ago and started saving for it. Um, Ordered that, and then it took 8 months to get the Kshatriya
Mhm.
from Samuel Decal, which, by the way, I'll never order from again.
I'm
Had to
I'm
throw that in
I'm staying out of that.
there. And then I already had the polypod balls by that point. So you've got what the the MLEV Kshatriya, 2 polypod balls. There's a couple of there's the Y wing. So we're about at $800 in kits.
Yeah, the polypods are not cheap, being P-Bandai price. That metal build is in what, the 2-ish range? If I'm estimating correctly?
Yeah, and add $120 or so on shipping.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So
and the MLEV was $150.
I was interested in that. Actually, that's not bad considering the size.
Plus shipping.
Yeah.
The figure that I used as a pilot, he was $35.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. The thrusters that are on the legs, those were $5 a piece.
Wow.
I mean, this thing it's skyrocketed in costs. I spent $320 in supplies. I keep track of it. I'm pretty organized person.
Oh yeah, I've gathered the your level of organization just from the short amount of time we've talked. Okay, so here you're mocking up the Y-wing / I'm guessing gunnery position.
Right.
From the
At
cockpit
first, I thought I was going to have that Y-wing bulkhead there, the front part of the Y-wing. I really wanted it there. There's just not enough room.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty crammed, and the pilot's head would kind of be below the edge of the window there. And just for oops, I'm knocking things. For transparency's sake to other people. So I first found this build and you via the Model Makers Boom Hut Facebook page, which is run by Model Making Guru, or Fox, who has been a decent inspiration on me, at least recently. Okay, so
Big time.
Oh yeah. And okay, so here is deconstructing the Kshatriya binders. Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Those were really painful to get apart, man. They really make those solid.
See, I didn't realize it was the metal build one. I thought it was maybe either the resin version, because it didn't look like the HG. It looked bigger.
And everybody asked, why didn't you get a resin one? And I was like, well, if I thought about that, I hadn't. So.
Yeah, exactly. Also, that's a lot of work with those resin ones.
It was. I thought this would be easier. In retrospect, I don't know.
Yeah,
depends on how good the resin kit is. The current resin kit I'm doing is so beautiful. If I had gotten it in that one like that, it would have been easier.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, your latest build is turning out really nice. If we got time, we'll get to that. Okay, so you're building up the legs here from the polypod ball legs that you've combined into one more robust leg.
Right.
And adding on the different bits.
What I did was I took 2 polypod kits, 2 polypod. Sorry about my voice. I took the 2 kits and married the legs together side by side, basically. And it was really just as simple as that they went together that easily. Most of the build on the legs was just a dream. It was as if I had picked parts that were supposed to go together. I don't know why it went so well.
Yeah. We already had some very nice engineering just between those 2 particular things. And the fact that you could combine them, well, what I at least can see, fairly easy. It looks like some grinding to make the parts fit together flush and things like that. Which I've totally done before. And the polypod has a cool, the way the legs work are just neat. I still need to get my hands on one, but I've seen it.
Yeah, my only complaint about them is that the mechanism kind of works backwards. So as the leg extends, the 2 pistons get compressed. All right. So
Uh,
when you have your legs all the way extended, you can't really tell it's got pistons on it.
oh, because
Does that make
it's yeah, it's like cantilevered,
they
kind of.
should go the other direction. The pistons should go the other direction so that when the legs spread out, the pistons open up.
Yeah, that
So
would
you
make.
can see the pistons.
Part of me wonders if that's just basing it off of how like crabs and spiders actually move their legs.
I have no idea.
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking about it mechanically, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
interesting.
know. It's just something that bugged me about the legs when I built them. It's like, well, shit, if they had done this back the other way around, then because when you extend those legs all the way and get the max
Hmm.
leg width you can out of one of those, then
Yeah.
your pistons are hidden.
Hmm.
That nice chrome look of the piston extending out of the canister is gone.
It's got to be that weird double hinge thing that's going on there. That's the only
Yeah,
That's the only thing I can see as to why. Okay, now you're making me really want to build that kit. No, I'm gonna have to go find. I'm
it
gonna have
is
to
a
go find
cool
one.
kit. It is a cool kit.
All right, so we're just basically going through the bashing of the legs here, just seeing what's going on. And like, I could literally like pour over these pictures like forever, like just analyzing. Like, okay, what is he doing here? Okay, and, like, but like, given I've been working on a kit bash for a couple years now that has been in secret for the most part. Like I've just kept track of it as I've gone. I haven't necessarily touched it in about 9 months. It has a very similar feel to a lot of what you've done here, but my skills have gotten so much better. So like I'll be better at bashing and scratch building by the time I get back to it. That's one reason I've taken the time to build the things I've built this year, so that I could be better by the time I want to get that. Okay, so we got some thin cement here, cementing the armor together. That's cool. Okay, here we go. Got a big.
That was the first time I got that Y-wing gun thing set up in there to see how it was going to work.
I like that because you're using the little the extensions on the back of the thrusters, and you got some extra tubing there. Oops, I'm hitting things. And then the extra Y-wing parts sticking out there, like as extra ends of the cannon, and I like
Yeah,
that.
the only actual scratch built part of those cannons is the barrels themselves. Nothing else of that is scratch built. All of it's from the Y-wing kit.
Yeah.
Even the even the front ends of the barrels,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the four prongs on each barrel,
Mm-hmm.
those are supposed to be behind in the back. You know what I mean? They're the
Mm-hmm.
engine parts from
Yeah,
the Y-wing.
because I've got the Y-wing. I've got mine right down there.
Yeah, so you know what parts I'm talking about. Those.
Oh yes, I'm a fan of the Y-wing kit. That was the first. No, I'm sorry. Wow, catch myself lying. That was my third Star Wars kit that I built behind the behind Poe's X-wing and a First Order TIE fighter. But I spent my time weathering the Y-wing and stuff like that. That was my first foray into like dust weathering. Okay, so this fitting the legs here. And the big ball joints
Yeah,
that are part of the MLEV, were those like maneuvering thrusters, or are those actually supposed to be there?
I think those were the main thrusters.
Yeah.
Although there was another big, huge one on the bottom in the center.
Oh, so it really is like a
Um,
ball in a lot of
oh
ways.
yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah. It had a big landing gear type setup underneath it,
Mm-hmm.
like a box type shape.
Yeah.
I will be using some of the parts of that on my Sazabi build. But
Nice. Teasers.
the yeah, I've got some things in mind for the Sazabi. But here, if you look at the way those polypod legs go into that thruster,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any modification there. All I did was cut the thruster off and shove
Yeah.
them in there.
Yeah, I
I
noticed
mean,
that. Yeah.
they fit perfectly without any modification at all. All I had to do was fill it with epoxy so they would hold.
I like it. I like it when that
And it was
happens.
just shocking to me. You know what I mean? It's
Uh-huh.
like, okay, how am I going to marry this clunk? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love it when that happens. I
Yeah,
really do. Like it's just like,
and it happened on the other end of those legs when it came time to marrying those to the Kshatriya binders.
hmm
The 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 square hole left behind by the binder holder from the Kshatriya
hmm
just happened to fit exactly the ends of those polypod ball feet.
it was meant to be.
It was.
By the way, as I'm going through these pictures, I approve of your drinking choices. As I see cans and bottles laying around, I approve.
I'm not a heavy drinker, but I like the taste of beer, so I'll have something. I try to find something new all the time. Try new beers.
Yes. Um, I'm looking around because I've seen the more recent photos, like the last month or so, or uh, this is my first time going back to the beginning of the project. And wow, that MLev has so well. I say this like I don't know that there's like a ton of interior space on that thing. Like it has a real like. I even said it to you. It's like it feels like a miniature for a movie. Like even on the inside, like if they really were trying to have a real like good on-screen miniature like for details that.
Well, that kit was designed by Cooper, and he's the one that did the models for Aliens, and he's done a whole bunch of movies,
That explains a
space movies,
lot.
sci-fi movies. And he's the designer of that kit. And if you have not gone to his website, holy shit! I'm sorry, holy crap, go
Oh,
there
you can cuss. It's
because
fine.
he's one of the most amazing model builders you'll ever see. He did a if you haven't seen his Back to the Future train, oh my god,
Okay, so
it's one of the most beautiful models I've ever seen.
I know what I know what I'm doing after this. Well, tomorrow because it's probably gonna be really late by the
Yeah,
time we're done here.
yeah,
Okay,
he's great. He's really good.
okay, so I've got to look into that. Send me a link later on. Okay, so in this photo, look, are you cutting off, or it looks like you cut a
Um,
huge chunk off the bottom of it.
oh yeah, yeah. This is where I decided just okay, we're gonna make the top like a turret and it's gonna spin.
Oh, oh, you cut it all the way across. Holy crap!
I
All
cut
right,
it all the way around, yeah.
damn.
And the way I did that was to find a bucket or a bowl it would fit in,
Uh huh.
and then used a Sharpie to make a line all the way around it. And then I got out my hot knife and I sat here for like an hour
Like a
and cut
basketball.
that thing in half.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize
The
that's what
whole
you
time
did.
thinking, God, I'm ruining this thing. I spent $170 on it, with shipping and everything, and I'm just hacking away.
Hey, as if you had a way back from it, then that's all that matters. Once you
But
start
I didn't.
cutting,
There wasn't any way back. What?
yeah.
What? Yeah,
Well,
it
I mean,
doesn't work. Well,
yeah. Well, I guess. All right, so we got some Lego. What are we doing here?
that's the post that sits in the center, so the whole top of it sits on that one magnet.
Oh, it's a magnet. I thought it was a battery. It
Now it's
look
a
it.
magnet.
Okay. Oh,
So
well,
I
yeah.
cut
If I
I cut off the posts in the middle of that Lego
yes,
set,
yeah.
that set of blocks, glued the magnet to it, and I glued a magnet to the upper portion underneath the floor.
That's
Right.
cool.
So the entire top of the ball, which weighs about probably 2 pounds,
Yeah.
rests on that magnet.
That the Duplo in there. Like I said, it's the first time I'm seeing this too. That's funny. That is really funny.
So that gets mounted into the bottom saucer part of the ball,
Yeah,
the bowl shape right in the center.
I see that. That's funny. I love the process. That's why, like, if we looked at only the finished thing, like, okay, so we have not shown the completed thing yet, but I may have thrown an image up at the front. This is the thing about YouTube time travel. I could talk about things I haven't done yet. Um, So I might put like as a teaser, like have the finished photos right at the front. But like right now, we're just going through the process, and like it's fascinating to me to watch what somebody else does, and like seeing I would do that. I totally would do that. You know, that kind of stuff. Like, and yeah, seeing it cut in half like this, and just like trying to, I guess, set up the structure between the two halves using the Lego. Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, yeah. I just built that set of blocks up high enough so that it would sit where I wanted it.
I think
I
it's
needed just enough space so that I could still spin it.
knowing how it ends up, like seeing it in such rough shape is hard. It's like being cut down the middle and having parts missing. Oh man. And this is the crazy thing. Like even if you spent a lot
So,
of money on something, like having the balls to like, okay, I've got this vision. I'm gonna have to bust out the hot knife or the Dremel. You know, I've taken the Dremel to some things and been like, okay, I've just got to do it. I just got to brave into it.
yeah, yeah. There's nothing for it. This right here is where Scavenger really started. This one picture, it's kind of funny. I haven't seen this in a while. So I had this cable or this wire, and I really liked the texture of it and the color of it for some
Mm-hmm.
reason. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Something about it spoke to me, and I thought it's this kind of organic feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Scavenger started.
Like literally the wire casing is what you're talking about.
Yeah, that orange, it's
Yeah,
kind of rubbery, it's kind of gross.
I see it.
Uh,
It has it. You're right. I mean, it has. It does. You're not. Yeah, it looks.
when you're holding it, it's silicone, so it's kind of slick.
Yeah.
It's just nasty wire, and it started my mind going towards what ended up as the scavenger, which is whatever is under the floor, and I don't know what that is.
Okay, so building up a like a conduit type, like a whole bunch of
Right,
wires thrown
right.
together.
I needed something on the back of the Y wing that kind of, because the Y wing kind of just ends,
Yeah, it just
right?
stops like right there. Yeah, at the the end of that
Right, and it
fuselage. Yeah.
looked bizarre. So I needed something that kind of ended the gun,
Yeah.
and I had a big thruster that was supposed to go on the bottom of the ball, and the Y wing just fit into that, and then this thing is part of that gray disc is part of the landing gear of the MLEV,
Yeah.
and that looked like a base for it, and it just kind of fell together.
So basically, it's
And
like,
Scavenger was born from this,
oh, that's so cool.
right? I twisted those cables up, and it felt to me like, oh, those are like brain tentacles or something. I don't know. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's weird and ugly and gross.
That's a larger scale version of what I did to make the ribbon cable for my Ghostbusters proton pack that I built. It's the same thing I did, but on a much larger scale. That's so funny. Also, it kind of looks like it's sucking up, like it's
Right.
sucking up the Y wing, like Cell to Android 18.
I
Um,
was kind of thinking like it was throwing it up.
yeah, glass half empty.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna ask, the chair is that actually from the MLev?
Yes.
Okay, that's the one part I was like, okay, I can tell what everything else came from. Where did the chair come from? I love that.
Yeah.
What is it with the sci-fi like rolled texture seat?
Um, but
I
that was another thing. The It required no modification.
yeah, you just
I, I
it's
I just stuck it there.
yeah.
Literally stuck it there. I didn't even need to glue it.
Yeah, I'm looking at my factory wiring as it is, and it's upside down too, because that's where the landing gear go. Okay, I see what's up here. Oh, excuse me. I love the application of Lego. It really is like the all-purpose thing. Are you
Yeah.
just using it
If I
for?
need a building block, they're building.
Are you using it for actual part of the thing, or just to help enforce what's there while like gluing or something?
At first, it was just hold the Y-wing there, and then I realized, well, I might as well just use it for the bracket that holds it. So I did.
Oop, I don't know what just happened to the audio. That was strange.
Did not hear me.
You got like super quiet for some reason. That was strange.
It started as just a bracket to hold up the Y-wing for mocking up purposes, and ended up just part of it.
Okay. I'll just have to live with the audio. I don't know what just happened. That was weird. I can still hear you. It just like suddenly like dropped half off. That's really strange. Okay, well, yeah, I guess if I clicked to the next picture, it could have seen it better. Okay, so like routed out where the engines would end in the wall. That's so cool. Okay, so
I decided that at some point the MLEV had been absconded with, right? Somebody or something had stolen the MLEV from Mars, right? So now it shows up at an Air Force base 20 years later, and it starts taking people from the Air Force base and making them do shit. So
hey, why not?
The pilot has assembled this gun out of parts of the Air Force base and shoehorned it into the MLEV.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, oop, I'm on the wrong window. There we go.
And later on, you'll see the arm on the floor. That would be from the original occupants of the MLEV.
That's funny.
There's a lot of death going on here. Sorry.
It's all good. Okay, I can't look. I can't look at this.
That yellow part right there.
Yeah.
That's from the heavy weapons system for the high noon.
Yeah.
Resin. And then the thruster is a 3D printed part I got from a guy in the UK.
Oh. My biggest problem is I can't look at the parts where the funnels used to be on the Kshatriya. I've got that whole.
Oh.
I can't look at that. It bothers me.
You'll be happy to know I cut them out.
Yeah. Well, they're still there. It's enough to bother me. Like, it's not even organic, but like it reminds me of those things, and I just can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understand.
I do dig this though. This is cool. So the way you got that thruster under there.
And that's on a magnetic switch, so that if you close it, it'll turn on.
Nice. Because this thing does have lights and electronics as we'll get there eventually, but it does have them. Okay.
Yeah, it's got an 8mm LED in there.
Okay, I'm starting to wondering if it's like your audio is coming across fine, like your volume is fine. So I'm starting to wonder if it's like my headphones or something just went wonky. Weird. You hear that? Or your phone mic just went silly. Okay, so we got Dremel tool. What is that anyways? Bakeware. Oh, it's yeah, I know what that is. Took me a second.
That's for like cake decoration.
Yeah, it's icing bag.
Yeah.
Or piping
bag,
whatever.
The only thing I could find that would do what I wanted, that I didn't have to fabricate the point.
That's so weird. I totally get it, but it's so weird.
It is. It's really weird.
Because once again, I've seen the completed thing. So, like, seeing how it's come together is fascinating. Okay, so we got almost, like, basically full leg assembly here.
Yeah.
Well, taped together leg assembly, at least.
Yeah. That's why I figured out that the top legs were just married to the bottom without any alteration. Like, holy shit, this is just gonna fit. So I just glued them on.
Okay, let me try something right quick. Okay, so we still got leg visuals here. One good thing is you've taken lots of good pictures, like any good modeler.
I also try to include the tools I use and things to do things in the pictures. So if you watch closely through them, you can see what tools I used to do certain things.
So now do you see the thing? But it looks like you're building up like a wiring thing.
Yeah, that's that's a connector I put in the bottom of the foot to connect it to power.
Oh,
So,
you re-
so
you re-
the
go ahead.
I ran the power through the box that it ends up sitting in
Yeah.
to a little connector in the that's buried in the scenery,
Mm-hmm.
and then I put the female or the male version of that connector into that foot that you're looking at.
Okay. That's I didn't even realize you ran the power through the base up through the legs. That's awesome. I don't
Yep,
know. That
all the
should have
power
occurred to
comes
me.
from this one leg.
That's
And
awesome.
in retrospect, after setting it up, I should have had just a power cable coming out of there. It would have
Yeah.
been easier.
Instead of the connector. Yeah.
Yeah, the
I get that.
connector was just a little too small for how big the whole thing is. Those connectors are great for MGs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For all the other kits I've been using those connectors for all of them, and they're great. But for this one, the whole thing was just too big for it. And so when it came time to setting up the legs, that became really difficult.
Yeah. I
But
see
this
that.
was really slick. I put a ring of styrene around the connector to
Uh-huh.
make it round.
Mm-hmm.
Put a little bit of epoxy on it, and then just shoved it into the tip of that thing.
Nice. Reminds me of a custom wiring harness I made for my car one time. That's cool. And it works.
Yep, it does work.
Okay, so connector down there, wires run up through the leg, twist it around there to keep it happy. Nice. And that is a real that's a decent because now we can actually see your hand in there. It's a good size scale, so you can really get the idea how big because those binders are definitely bigger than the HG ones.
Yeah.
So
Those binders are bigger than the HT box.
yeah. And then you've painted those silver. That's nice. Even though they were silver to begin with. Irony.
Well, only the last inch and a half.
Oh, okay. It went down. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, it was connected to styrene.
Okay.
These little things were quite a bit of processing to get them done.
Yeah,
There's a lot of detail on them,
I like
and a
it.
fantastic part for 3D printed.
Yeah,
Really
I
pretty.
would not have even guessed that they were 3D printed.
No,
Wow.
I didn't even sand them.
Holy crap. Must have been the liquid resin versions. I was actually
Yeah,
looking at one of those printers that's actually incredibly affordable and can do really nice stuff. So maybe next year I'll get one of those.
and these were a nightmare of masking.
Yeah, I'm scared just looking at it. Okay, so we got some copper and airbrush up some silver and some. I guess it look.
So it's the chrome base with a mixture of red and blue
Mm-hmm.
Maya clear
I see that.
over it. I use that same mixture on the ends of my gun barrels.
Yeah, yeah, doing the heat,
Yeah.
like to burn in. It's interesting. I haven't seen it applied this way. That's interesting.
The streaks you see on it is what is that stuff? I've got it right here. So, let's see. Oh, sorry.
Dropping things. It's all good.
It's Mister Color
Uh-huh.
weathering stuff.
Yeah.
So panel lining, that's what it is. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry, as I get older, it's harder to come up with words.
I'm not even old and it's hard for me.
That's the figure I bought to use for the pilot.
Yeah. Helicopter pilot there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he came from Russia. So it's with Russian. It came packaged in Russian newspaper. It's
Wow,
kind of cool.
I didn't even notice. I was looking at the actual thing. I didn't even look at the newspaper. That's funny.
Yeah, all of the market, all of it was in Russian. Everything was.
I want to translate it now. I'll spend the time. That'd be funny. Um, that's pretty cool. I just like to. I was so focused on the resin figure. Oh man, that cast is a little rough. Kind of
It
kind of a
it
hard
looks
scene.
rough. It looks it rough, but
Uh-huh.
it took amazingly little processing to get it to look good.
Yeah, cause
I did very little to it.
oh, okay. I'm looking at
It
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 here.
looks rough, but it's most of what looks rough is actually detail.
Yeah, I was just thinking that a lot of it is like fabric and stuff like that. So even without
Right,
the texture is
right.
fine.
Exactly. What looks sometimes like flashing is actually part of the part.
I
Um,
I realize that with the ridge in the helmet now.
yeah,
Um, it looks cool. I like it.
yeah. And when you see that helmet painted, it looks fantastic.
Hmm. I like that you also got the controls in there too. So, like that helps a lot.
Yeah, they give you all of that stuff, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is great. This is just what I needed.
All right. So we got more bits from the Kshatriya here.
I ended up just scrapping those wireframe things.
Yeah, yeah. They look neat,
You
but
know,
they're useless.
and well, and they're soft, rubbery plastic.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I couldn't really paint them.
Yeah, they
I
don't.
wanted them. I wanted them to be black, but you don't. After building it, I got it all together, and I was like, nah, screw it. I
Yeah,
don't even care for it anymore.
I could see that. That's a really awkward view there.
Yeah, and the funnels didn't fit. I ended up scrapping those as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember funnels on the final one. It still looks freaking cool. I really like the color scheme. It's just cool, and the Tampa uh details that were already still on the Kshatriya parts. You just left those on there alone, or did you paint
Yep,
over those later?
I did.
Okay, okay.
Even that decal was on the Kshatriya already.
Hmm. I've been paying attention to that as we go. I like the hoses there. That's pretty cool. It
Those are
just
from the Giradoga, MG Giradoga.
oh yeah, it's cool.
So there's a story there. I built two Giradogas, a pair of them, and during that build, I had a couple of teeth pulled, and during that time, I was on painkillers and building those things, and I wanted the paint on the chest parts to cure faster, so I thought, I'll put them in the oven, and they melted, and so I ended up having to buy two more Giradoga kits to finish my two Giradoga kits that I was building. So
Wow.
I ended up with a lot of extra Giradoga parts.
Okay. Okay. Uh, you remind me of my buddy Sean Love. He's does a lot of custom builds and paints for people, and he's a body shop guy. And occasionally he loses parts and and has to find people who are secondhand selling kits. Like I sent him some
Yeah.
couple spare
Okay.
parts.
Okay. Right there, I'll stop you. I have never. I'm going to knock on some wood here. I've
Okay.
never lost a part.
Well,
Not one.
that considering this build, that's impressive. But also your level of organization, I could see you having things tucked away very neatly and organized.
Not really.
Okay, well, never
It's
mind then.
kind of
I was trying to give you credit.
a.
Okay, so doing
It's kind of a. I'm organized in some ways, but when I'm building, no, it's all over the place.
I have no idea what that's like, says the person with the terribly messy desk right now. So we're doing kind of chipping and weathering here on the binders. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
I was wondering where it was going at first. I was like, man, who messed that up? And then I realized it was you. Um, so dry brushing. Now, see, I've never tried this.
This is not dry brushing.
Well, the only reason I said that is
I paint the chips on, and then I dip foam in the paint to get the small chips.
I got you. Well, I was looking at the smudges on the paper towel.
Yeah, that's
That
from the
was.
foam.
I assumed you were dabbing off the excess, so it's dry foaming.
Right,
Similar idea. You're just not streaking
right.
it. You're just dabbing it.
If a good example would be to watch some of Mig Jimenez's videos. He uses that same technique.
Okay. I mean, I've seen people do it. I've not done this particular version of chipping.
Yeah,
I
I learned that from my dad.
Okay.
And I think I should probably try salt chipping, and I should try other types of chipping. But every time I do, I end up doing it this way anyway. So
Yeah. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, like, I can't argue with the results by any means. Also, I like the masking here, and then chipping a little bit more
oh,
purposefully.
masking those was a nightmare.
Oh, I can imagine. Um.
I went okay, so to give you some idea, I went
Mhm.
through
Oh
eight
God, you're gonna tell me how many
rolls,
rolls. Oh God.
eight eight rolls of each size of Tamiya tape,
Yeah.
of each
Yeah.
size. So we're talking 16 rolls of Tamiya tape on this one project.
Oh, you were using the 6 mil and the 10.
18, I think it is.
Okay. Well, they have. I discovered that they have 6, 8, and 10. I have all three now.
Okay,
So there
so
are
maybe
more now.
I'm not sure if it's the 8 or the 10,
Uh,
but the 6.
this is the bigger. It looks like this doesn't look like 6. This looks like 8 or 10. I mean, just not that the specifics matter considering how much you did use, but oh, I feel the pain. Believe me, I've blown through.
Well, and that doesn't count the flexible tape too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I've blown through just this year 3 or 4 rolls of just the 6 mil, not counting anything else. And
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything remotely on this level. But now that I discovered that there's other ones, plus I use the blue masking tape as well, and then cut it to shape if I need to, or rip it down. And then when I was
Well,
doing,
and even if you look here, I used paper to cover half of
oh, of
that.
course, if you've got a large area,
Right.
I use
Right.
plastic bags or paper or whatever's
But
around.
but even doing that, I still went through 16 rolls of freaking
Oh
tape.
no, I believe you. Anybody who's needed to do some masking, absolutely believes you. I'm just looking at the color. I like that. It's pretty. And then more chipping.
The colors on these, by the way, are Vallejo spray cans.
Mm-hmm.
The green and the tan
Yeah.
are both Vallejo spray cans, rattle cans.
I didn't know Vallejo made rattle cans. It seems like something I need to
Yep.
invest in. I use Tamiya myself, and I have no issues really using those, but I wouldn't mind using some Vallejo. Haha, giant tape wad and paper. Love it. And for anybody looking at this, that's just one.
Yep, that's just one.
That's crazy. I love it. That's like so. It's like that is kind of the fun though. Like anybody who's scared to do masking and detail work and stuff like that doesn't know the thrill of pulling all the tape
Just
off.
doing it. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
The
Well, and
masking
even
itself
this,
sucks.
even this, I complain about it. I say, "Oh, it was a bitch" or whatever.
Yeah.
But I sat here doing this while I watched TV,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And looking back on it, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, like I did. So the Star Destroyer is the most recent thing, and I was usually watching a podcast or two, while doing that. Whether it was the different levels of masking or anything like that. Ooh, a nice gunmetal color applied there. That's pretty.
That is actually Vallejo steel.
Steel.
Yeah.
It just looks gunmetal-y. But now that we know the actual color, awesome. That's so nice and pretty and weathered.
The red on there is Tamiya primer.
Nice. Yeah, this would drive my buddy Sean nuts because he likes brand new, shiny, clean things. He doesn't do weathered.
Yeah.
Like he would like all
Not
he
clean.
would like all the other stuff, like the inner workings that are all still nice and clean right now. Well, he's a body shop guy. He's supposed to do straight lines, clean paint, all that stuff, and he does really good, heavy, well done metallics um, on a lot of his things. And he also does cell shading and stuff like that because he mostly paints Transformers, but he's doing Gundam kits as well. He purposely painted a Sinanju this ridiculous bright metallic green color just to piss me off. Because I'm a Sinanju purist. Like that, like Sinanju and Kshatriya are my two favorite mobile suits, and like Sinanju either needs to be red or yellow. Like if you wanted to do a yellow bird version, and he did it this ridiculous green, and I'm like, I can't look at it. I can't look at it. He sent me like 20 pictures of it. I was like, I hate you. But to go back to your build here, this is just the inner workings of a leg, and it's just looking gorgeous. And it's something I preach, and I'm sure you're well aware of differences in texture and finish. You know, the difference between a matte or a semi-gloss or a matte finish. It helps you move your eyes across it. If you had the entire thing in a single, like, say, bright gloss, like it would be a little bit boring. Nothing would really stand out, even in different colors. But to have, you know, some metallic finishes that aren't, you know, just straight gloss, and then different things, and then certain things are like matte, like the yellow hoses. There's no shine to those at all. You know.
Yeah, those are in their defense, they're rubber.
Oh, I figured that part.
So
I figured that's why you didn't paint them. But to me, that makes it more interesting. Okay, so this is leg sockets and leg armor. I recognize those from earlier. That's pretty cool.
yeah, those the leg sockets were masked with actually some of that tape, the Tamiya tape.
Nice.
I used a punch to cut a circle and stuck it right in the center of each of them.
Oh, okay. I see what's going on there.
So the balls on those thrusters would go into the red parts.
You said balls.
I did. On the thruster.
Thruster balls. I like, and this is really silly, I like how now they're ball joints look like pawns. Like from chess.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that too. That's funny. I thought the exact same thing.
That's exactly what they look like. Now I want to see an entire chess set painted that way. Let's get next project. Custom chess set made out of random parts. I just gave myself a project, didn't I? That's gorgeous. I don't have to do it though. That's the fun part. It's like I can say something and then not have to build it. Oh wow, that's just cool. Now I did want to ask, how is it still kind of posable, or is it all frozen in position?
No, it's all frozen at this point.
Okay. Is it only just because you needed it to be in just the one position on the display, or for stability's sake you kind of stiffened everything up?
I got more and more scared as things went along as to whether it would actually stand. When I put the top on it, I was really scared. I thought it might crash.
Okay.
The top weighs a good 2 pounds, and then the bottom section weighs another half a pound, and it's sitting up all on these stilts. They're scary. Driving it to the hobby store to put it in their display was probably one of the most stressful things I've done in a long time.
I was scared with my Ghostbusters diorama that I built. I don't know if you saw that or not. Taking that just to show off. I have it here, but I took it up there to show it to him because I bought all the supplies from the hobby store. And I took it up there in a box, and I was like so scared the whole way. Traffic was terrible. It was raining. And then it did actually end up falling off the counter while I was there. Luckily, it only took like the slightest. I don't have any clue how it fell. It made no sense. something clearly was off balance in the box, and we're standing there talking, and I hear it crash to the floor. All it did was just barely chip a part that you can't even see. So I built it.
Uh,
I built it pretty sturdy. Okay,
uh,
what are we looking at here? A bunch of bendy parts. Look like
those are all pipes that go on the MLEV that were part of the um, thruster system.
okay. I was thinking they look like lamps.
They
But
do.
good lord, it's a little farm, little alligator
There
clip
was,
farm.
well, there's four of them per thruster. So
Oh, so they're all going. Okay, I see how it works. Do you ever think about that when you have like a ton of things out on the alligator clips, like that you've been painting? You're like, it's time to harvest. Like when they're done, it's like they're done growing. Time to
yeah,
harvest. Wow, that
you
looks
you
cool.
look at these things when you first start them, and it's like, oh, this will be bitching, and then you see a forest of
Yeah,
freaking parts that you got to mask and paint.
at least, and this is a perspective thing. They're not that small. They could,
Those little hoses they're about a half inch long.
but I'm just thinking if those were a different scale, like if this thing was 1 to 100 scale, those would be impossibly tiny. Like that would be molded
Yeah,
in surface detail, not an actual part. That's just a perspective.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, and this looks so funny because you spent okay. So at this point, how much time has been spent on just the leg that's done here? Because you worked on
Uh,
this for quite some time.
I figure I probably have about 500 hours into it.
Wow.
Um,
And
and
then
I
there's
guess you could divvy
oh
that up amongst the parts.
yeah. Okay, so there's the actual thruster lit up, which is the first time we're seeing that. That's awesome. It's so pretty. We're
This
like,
was when I first was trying to figure out, okay, how tall is this thing going to be? Where are these legs going to sit? What do I need to
mm-hmm.
do for a base? All that kind of stuff. That's an MG
Zigok or Act guy.
uh, done by my daughter, actually.
Nice. Yeah, why did I say Act guy? I knew it was Zigok. It's one of those things. It's hard for me to keep up with all the different aquatic Xeon suits. They all have ridiculous names and they're not that different from each other. Some of them really aren't. It's kind of sad. I love it. We just look around, we see different PGs in the background, some MGs. It's funny. Wow. What are you using for a power source? Just a normal brick? Like a
USB.
USB brick? Yeah. That's what I figured. It's just, yeah, you never know.
I,
I
I usually, while I'm testing like this, it's always my laptop probably sitting on the floor right there.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Um, because I've been down the line, I wouldn't mind powering my Star Destroyer that way. It would take some reworking of the base, the display base. Okay, so there's the
Yeah,
wiring connector that would go into the base. That's cool. I'm gonna speed along a little bit till we get to another big chunk. Okay, so doing
yeah.
more.
Processing these legs took a long time.
I
It's
like
like,
I like the shot though. With the like base colors, first layer of chipping, next paint plus chipping, done. That's cool. That's a good. They look like bananas. What they look on? They
they
do,
kind of do.
or plantains. It looks like plantains. That's hilarious. Okay, and then we got some.
So this is kind of unique for, I don't think many people use this technique. I
Mhm.
use India ink for most of my weathering. Um,
Oh,
so that pen you see right there, that's an
yeah,
India ink pen, and
yeah,
you can you can basically color the whole freaking thing if you want.
yeah.
All the strinking I do, all the panel lining I do is done with those pens.
Just using it like an oil wash.
Yes.
Huh? No, I
The,
have
the advantage to them over oils is that they dry within an hour or so.
not have to wait
So,
5 freaking days.
right. So I can weather a whole piece and top coat it in an hour.
Okay, that's what I'm doing from now on. Okay, yeah, you do. There's some really thick tape there. Okay, so that's 6 mil. That's probably you might be right. Maybe that is 18. That's weird. So
I
there's
think it
more.
is.
There's a whole lot of Tamiya tapes out there that apparently we haven't seen. Okay, so this is wiping it away, at least from the panel lines.
Right. I use cotton swabs
Mm-hmm.
as a brush, basically,
Yeah.
or like you would for makeup, or the pastels, or the pigments.
Mm-hmm. Either
It's
remove.
basically the same kind of technique. You're just using the ink, and the ink once you, I use it on a gloss coat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you mess up, you can just wipe it off.
Yeah. Same
It's
differences.
extremely forgiving.
Yeah. So instead of
The,
like
the
spending
one
time.
disadvantage to it is that you can't do it over any kind of flat coat.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Uh,
Well, same thing with oil. Oil would not. Well, you could, but
yeah,
it wouldn't
yeah. It
do the
basically
same.
gets into any kind of pore, right?
Yeah.
So any kind of porous surface like a flat coat is, or a matte coat is it'll soak it up. So
Actually,
those are the
that's
MLEV parts for the legs.
yep. The sockets where the legs plug in. That's awesome. Well, I was thinking because I tried an Aztecing experiment, basically just using the base plastic, uh, matte coating it, and then just doing a couple little spots of tape, and then gloss coating it, and just seeing if just doing an oil wash over that over the matte surface would give a similar technique rather than having to do a whole undercoat. It was okay, but I think it just didn't apply that well. Might try it again in the future for something else. But there's a big collection of parts for all the legs. So that's the leg assemblies, the different stages of the binder shell being painted. Got lots of little thrusters, sockets. Wow. All kinds of fun stuff. I digs it.
Yeah, it was probably a good month and a half of processing just legs.
It's, that sounds so funny. It's got little wires sticking
It
out of
does.
each one. Is that is it a magnet that you got plugged in down there? Is that a battery?
That's the magnet for the switch for the thruster on each leg.
Oh, that's
So
the
each
thing that
one of those,
closes. That's when you said closes and it connects the switch. Okay.
yeah,
That's
there's a
cool.
magnet on. There's two magnets on each leg, one on each part.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And when it connects, it's touching that. It makes the connection.
yeah,
Ooh, ideas. Because I was wondering how to, I could do, I never thought about doing it that way, using the magnet to actually make the connection. That's cool. Okay, so we got a bottom shell part here.
yep. Those were the original. Those two holes you see right there, right, left and right,
Yeah.
are the two original headlamps for it.
Oh, okay. I see.
The rest of them I cut myself.
Oh, okay. Now I see that. Yeah.
All of the rest of the headlamps for it were meant to go on the lower portion, the landing portion of the MLab.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I cut the four extra holes in the front of it for those, for what I saw as spider ball eyes, basically.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And you're experimenting with the leftover bits of the Y wing, and I guess
Yeah,
it's
that
that
ended
bottom
up as
thruster.
that little turret.
Wait, is that the what is that little? What
Yeah,
is that
it's
gray
the
piece?
exceed head thing.
That's what I thought. I thought it was the exceed head base, but I was like,
Yeah,
those things come with like
exactly what it is.
so much spare
So,
plastic that you could use just for things.
so this is a fun little gimmick. I love this one.
Okay.
So this turret runs on a rail, and there is a magnet in the rail that's captured by that rail right there.
Oh, that's so cool.
All right.
I'm stealing
And
that.
so the turret sits on that magnet, and the magnet can run front to back in the rail.
Oh, okay, so you
And
did. I see what you did
smaller
there.
magnet,
Yeah.
the smaller magnet acts as your turret spinny doohickey. All right.
Yeah. That's so ridiculous, dude.
So, and then power, I decided I was going to put a lamp on it. Why the fuck I'd do that, I don't know. But I decided it needed this stupid light on it.
So
So in order to do that,
so people could see that you're shooting at them. You're like,
don't ask me. All right, I I don't claim to have really good thought processes here, but
that's
anyway,
I put a lamp on it. Why? I don't know.
once I put the damn spotlight on there, I realized, well, shit, now I got to power that.
Yeah. You ran the wire
So
through the
I
thing.
right, so now there's a slot that I had to cut in the middle of that rail section
Yeah.
for the wires to go through.
Okay, let me get there. Oh yeah, you would have had a channel or what happened here? Okay.
Right.
Oh, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Epoxying the thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's I use a black epoxy by 3M,
yeah.
so that'll block any light coming from the back of
No
them.
light bleed coming out of the hole. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
I got you. Cool. Now, one thing that you could have done in that situation is actually used a brass rail down the side to power it, so you wouldn't have had to have a channel for the wire. In theory.
Yeah,
In theory,
yeah.
I learned that from Tested. It does look like an eagle's head, though. That's kind of funny. Where you got that the epoxy coming out the back. That's funny. All right, so we got some LEDs and stuff plugged in the front here. That's cool. And that's
So
that.
now I've already cut the extra holes for the lights on either
Yep,
side.
yep. I like, and we got some hairy arm coming through there. That's well, I hope that's an arm. Okay, come on, continue. There
Yeah,
we go.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Oh wow, what did it come with the grate for the lighting, or did you?
Yeah, that came with the MLEV. The
Okay,
MLEV came with a whole bunch of photo etch. Uh,
I saw a photo etch sheet earlier.
yeah, covers for the lights and the ladders and stuff for a photo etch.
Oh, that's crazy. You and your big ass light fixture.
Yeah, don't ask
Okay,
me why I didn't put that on there.
who cares?
So
It's
here
cool.
we're using a lot of tape,
A little bit. Masking off
just a
different
little bit.
panels. Nice.
That was probably one of the hardest masking jobs I've ever done right there.
Yeah, doing that
That was
little
really,
inset panel. Yeah.
yeah, it was really hard.
And leaving the handle area exposed. Good God. Madman. Have you discovered any tiny areas of tape that you've missed? Like you just painted over, like you just never caught?
Yes.
All
You bet. You bet.
right. I'm enjoying this. There we go. That nice orangey red
So all of
color.
the red on this is just the Tamiya primer.
Yeah, the iron red primer, or
Yep.
whatever they call it. I need to get some of that for a good rust base coat. Because whenever
I
I do,
really liked it for the accents on this. I think they look really good.
yeah,
I,
I'm not complaining. So,
I didn't see any reason, I wanted that doorway to be kind of a reddish color. And when I saw that primer go on, it's like, well, that looks great.
it
I
has
don't see a reason to do anything more.
it has an industrial feel to it.
Right.
Then you add all the warning stuff. I like the rescue hatch. That's cool. Got some chrome paint there. Wow. And I like the fact it's still cut in half at this point. Like still okay, you've done this phenomenal weathering job, still the raggedy ass edge around it so far. That's funny. Oh, that's so damn cool. Like at this point, like you'd show it to somebody like, man, are you almost done? And you just look at them like, no.
Not even halfway.
Not literally, not even halfway. There's still a whole, I love that the Legos are primered. There's something you don't see every day.
Lego or primered Legos.
Yeah. Man, I really got to start using magnets more. I have a bunch of little rare earth magnets. I've been wanting to use them for things like to make the Star Destroyer stick to the base a lot better so it doesn't shift around. Put like one inside and then one embedded.
So here's something that um, I think is probably very underutilized is the
Hmm.
Lego.
Yeah.
So as you go through this series of pictures, look how I use this Lego
Okay.
for
What?
different things.
By the way, what is this master tool thing we're looking at
That's for
here?
bending photo edge.
Oh, I've never seen
It's a
that.
bending tool.
I see
That one
that.
cost me $50, I think. Very nice tool. Analyzed aluminum.
Okay.
So you got two knobs, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a couple of springs that hold that plate
Mm-hmm.
down. So
Mm-hmm.
as you tighten the knobs, you tighten those teeth down on whatever you're bending. So you set it up to bend
I
things.
figured. I figured it was set like a brake, like a metal brake.
Right. It's a brake, a tiny brake.
What are
And I
the?
use the Lego to make sure that I'm square.
You have to get your plumb and squareness. That's cool. Oh, see, I'm looking at it. Oh, okay. I was looking at it differently. Okay, I see how it works. That's neat.
So
I.
I can also use the Lego. Now, if you look really closely here, there's a gap between the tine um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of the tool
Yeah.
and the ladder itself.
Yeah.
Well, that distance is set by that piece of styrene plastic you see on the bottom of the picture.
Yeah. I figured it was going around
So,
the piece of plastic. Yeah.
so I used the Lego to hold that styrene plastic against the tine of the tool.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So not only did the Lego help me get everything square, it also helped me achieve that gap so that I can make that gap exactly the same on both sides of the ladder.
Wow. Impressive.
So without the Lego, that would have been pretty much impossible to do.
Yeah, this entire build would have never happened without Lego, and it's not actually an understatement.
I just love the use of Legos for tools. I use them for a miniature square anytime I need one.
Okay,
You can
see,
build them up as big or as small as you want,
well,
and you know they're always square.
that's something I'm gonna have to start busting out because I have that issue. But like, and with bending and stuff, I get that. Cutting would be a little difficult because you could cut into the Lego. Okay, so this is just
Right, right.
washing
They
and
don't work
finishing the
good
door.
for exact knives and stuff. What's that?
Sorry, I was skipping ahead here to the you're washing the door area. Don't
See there again. I use those pens.
Yep. Um, but I was thinking because I've been with a lot of needing to hold things in place for gluing at a square angle or needing a hard straight edge that could also keep things square. I was going to get some of the 1, 2, 3 blocks and do it that way. I just haven't bought them yet. Okay, so we got the bottom end mostly assembled here. Chipping. Did you do
I
the?
think that's pretty much finished.
It's looking at me. It's the turret. Just it's funny at this point. It's really damn
It
cool,
is.
but it's funny because it has a crotch light.
It just cracks me up.
Well, it's either that or it has a satellite dish gun, like the actual original inspiration. And I like the
When
use
when
of
I when I first saw it on there, I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen, and it just cracked me up. So I couldn't take it off.
yeah. Well, mine, Archie has a crotch cannon, and I leave it there. And it's posable. It's pose. It can rotate. It has elbows. So there's all kinds of jokes that can be made. And that's the crazy wiring for it all. That's nuts.
um, yeah, that's prep for the legs.
I see the
So
wires.
each of the legs are the wires from each of the legs are going to come up through those four holes,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got extensions. What I did was I took an LED and cut the leads off or the
Yeah.
legs off,
Mm-hmm.
and heated those up and embedded them in the Lego. So now I
Oh,
got
that's what
two
that is.
metal
Okay.
posts sticking out of the Lego,
Yeah, using them as a.
using them as buses.
Yeah, I couldn't think of
Right?
the word. I knew it started with a B. It just wasn't registering.
Yeah. So any power I needed could go to those buses. So I
Yeah.
got two wires going to each leg from those buses.
Yeah.
So when I attach the legs, the wires from the legs will poke up through those holes, and I just have to solder them all together.
Wow. I'm getting so many good ideas. I'm just reveling in things. That looks like cat hair landed on. It's a cat hair right in the middle of
Probably.
it.
Well, you saw her earlier.
Yes.
She's a major pest.
Yeah, you probably love her.
I do. I
Or
don't know why.
it's either love or tolerance.
Um, or hate.
That too. Nice. It's so funny to see half a thing done, and then like to still
Yeah.
have what you would think. This is the funny part about doing a major build like this. It looks like there's a whole lot of progress. But then like, man,
It
you
does.
just have the top shell to do. It's fine. It's not that bad.
Right.
Right.
I was even thinking that.
Yep. It's not
And
that
then I
bad.
started masking those top pieces. Holy crap. Well, and at this point, I really hadn't even gotten to the scavenger much yet.
No, yeah. It's so funny like just the bottom half of it is such an accomplishment already. And the fact that it's done from the toes up is like it still has so much more to go. All right, what do we got
Well,
here?
it actually wasn't done. So I
Well,
started looking at that and I started freaking out.
yeah,
I didn't think it was going to hold it up. So I started planning ways of making those legs stronger.
yeah. Because at this point,
So,
that's just it's being held up by the can or bottle or whatever that is. Looking at it
right.
sideways. Oh, I see what it is.
And
Okay, yeah.
And so I thought, well, I need to put some extra struts in there or something to make it, hold this thing up.
They look like
So that's what you're seeing here is me starting to actually scratch build some stuff
yeah.
to hold it up.
It looked like extra pistons is what I was just thinking.
Right.
I figured that was the look you
So
were going for.
this is the first
Oh,
one, and then later on in the build, as when I got the top done and I
mhm.
was actually holding that in my hands, it was like, oh my god, I need more.
More
so
sports.
I ended up making another big one
Wow,
for each leg,
that weathering is so cool.
and that's all done with those pens.
Yeah. Wow. It actually just looks like it's had a laser cut it in half.
That's what I was thinking was that the pilot guy
Oh,
was
he
forced,
literally hacked it in half with like
yeah,
with a
was
torch.
forced to do it with a hand torch, right?
God, that would take
By the
forever.
scavenger.
Okay, back to
So here's
inside the cockpit. Yeah.
yeah, this is where the scavenger really started taking shape. It was like, oh, okay, now I don't know where this stuff started coming from. I can't really tell you. I started doing those cracks in the floor, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like it.
Ended up with some guy in an incubator. I just don't ask me.
That part I was yeah. Like you just start getting lots of inspiration. I it's still like yeah, there's just not really
Okay,
words.
these are kind of cool. So
Yeah.
that black sheathing on the outside. So what this is an LED
Mhm.
glued to the end of side lighting fiber optic cable.
Okay.
And then the black is a sheathing that I found on a USB cord I bought at the gas station.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking it was. That's neat. It's like blah, it's all matrix right into the back of his head.
Exactly.
There's some wires
What
or hoses.
sucks is you can't see any of this anymore.
Yeah, you buried it. Or you mean inside once it's closed up.
Yeah, it's closed up. You really can't see those wires coming out of the back of its head anymore.
What do we got here?
Um,
Oh,
this
weld. It
is
made it look like it's welded together.
right.
Oh, wow.
This is something that few people know about, and more should. It's a company called Archer Fine Decals or Fine Transfers.
Yeah.
They make resin decals. So
Whoa.
this is actually resin that is on decal paper.
Yeah.
They go on just like decals do.
Dude. I just did this the hard way with super glue.
Right.
Like actually literally having to build. That is so damn
But
cool.
that those weld lines on those guns took
Yeah.
me like 30 seconds.
And yet it looks like it would have
It looks
taken much
awesome.
longer.
It
That's
looks fact. It looks fantastic. I was
that.
really impressed. They
Okay.
make rivets and welds and vents and all sorts of stuff.
Now I've seen rivets. I've seen those before, but I've never seen like big long strips of welded area. That is awesome. Okay, so working on the body here. We'll speed this along ever so slightly here. Ooh, all the yeah, all the hoses and pipes on the Y wing. I'm familiar. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we'll have to speed this up a bit
It's all
because
good. Yeah, we'll jump through.
we got a ways to go still.
Oh, I know, because I know how many photos were in just the first album. But like just that first section was like so in depth. It just like will show. Oh, like see that? That's like, it looks like just a ridiculous spaceship in and of itself. Like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's just a cool spaceship thing he's building. And then you realize, no, what? That's just going into another big thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much a model all of its own.
Yeah, I'm digging this.
It was so much fun to build. I really liked that kit. Really cool. All those pipes and stuff were really cool.
It.
Really a pain if
Yeah, yeah.
because
Uh,
one wrong move and you cut right through your pipe instead of cutting pipe off the tree. But
yep.
um,
I broke
and the
one.
fact that there was what three of those runners of pipes.
Uh huh. I broke when I pulled my Y wing out for the Star Destroyer review. I broke one of the pipes off. I had to glue it back in place. I just the way I picked it up, snapped one of the pipes off. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, and I found it. I was like, crap, because all you see is a pipe laying there. You're like, oh, where did this come from? I had to find the holes that were missing pipes. So like I've seen like some of this like forward, and I was like, hey, that's a really interesting looking Y wing. What's he doing there? And then whoa, like what is that? It's just like so I haven't been in
So
that
back
group.
up one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Back up one.
The ridiculous
Okay,
hoses.
this is my brain.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
There's some organization in there, and then chaos.
yeah,
Okay,
makes
go ahead.
sense. No, it's fine, but that's funny. And the finish work on everything is just like so awesome. It hurts my brain looking at the tiny details. Like,
I really liked that figure.
oh
He's so cool,
Jesus.
and
Okay,
he was expensive, but well worth it.
so when I saw these pictures, you post the cluster of pictures from updates, I saw this and I was like, who is making like a bloody body? Because it just looks like somebody's been dismembered and has a bloody torso. It's so funny. Because I seriously, and then that like the shoes on a rack, like what is going on? I saw all these pictures and had no clue what was happening. Because I was still fairly new to the group and wasn't spending a whole lot of time. And I'm just seeing you post pictures like, what is this? It's just, it,
How is this related to Gundam? I don't
well,
understand.
I knew that Model Maker Boom Hut is not strictly a Gundam group, which is one reason I'm in it, so I can learn about other things. Because I'm in enough Gundam groups. I actually left like 5 of them this year because it was the same things over and over. But like, I was just like, it made, and then you see this and you're like, oh, it's what? Why is the Y wing backwards? Like what? Completely out of context, not seeing any other post before this. You're like, okay, this is really good. What the hell is going on? And that's what I was like.
And I'll have you know that the blood on that is real.
Okay. It's real blood.
All of the blood you see in this is real.
Okay. I believe you.
Even the blood on the walls.
Don't ask where it came
It's
from, just
I
understand it's
I
real.
actually went to the grocery store and got blood.
I hope you paid for it and you didn't just find somebody.
No, no, I didn't pay for it. They just gave me some.
Stop. It gets worse if you with the further into that explanation you got, the worse it was. I just went to the
You should
grocery
have seen
store.
it. You should have seen the butcher's face when I walked up and asked him, "Hey, this is gonna sound weird, but I need some blood."
You could have been fine thinning out some paint. No. Real
No.
blood, pig's
Well, I
blood.
went on the Boom Hut and I asked, "Okay, what's the best colors for dried blood? I need a really good color for dried blood." And I got pretty much no responses. And except for one guy that said, "Well, real blood." And I
Yeah.
started thinking about it. It's like, well, yeah, why not? Right? You're just gonna put a top coat over it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Might as well. So the blood on that pilot is because I pricked my finger with the X-Acto knife
Yeah.
so that I could get some blood.
Okay, that's
And
slightly.
then I realized, well, I want blood splashed all around the inside of the cabin, but I'm not going to cut that much blood out of me.
You had to take a week off of work for that.
Right.
You got
So
an actual
anyway,
like Xeon logo.
that's from the Gerbera Tetra
Yeah. I was like, okay,
by
now you're really
Gene
crossing
Christian.
universes.
Yep.
Well, I've never purposely added blood to any of my any of my builds.
Neither have I. It was a first for me. So here,
Oh, this is the guy in the box. Yeah.
so this is the
This is
guy
where
in
it
the
really
incubator.
starts getting
And
weird.
okay, so this kind of perplexed me. So those cabinets there are meant
Mm-hmm.
for the space suits for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
MLEV pilots,
Yes.
right? And the MLEV came with two resin figures for pilots, but he didn't fit in the damn. I had to cut his feet off to make him fit in the cabinet.
That's where the
So
blood
how could
came
this?
from.
Well, how could a spacesuit fit in there?
Because it's compact, I guess.
I
I
don't
did
know.
I did wonder what that was for initially. Because you just see you doing this, you just figure, oh, it's supposed to be that way. No, no, it's just it's just some dude locked away in a cabinet. It's Superman who just couldn't figure out how to get out of the phone booth, which actually kind of the colors.
So,
Oh,
if you've ever read The Tommyknockers by Stephen King,
yeah, yeah.
kind of what
I get the
it's
reference.
kind of
Yeah,
what was running through my brain here.
I was getting that vibe actually. I like that.
That's
That
cool.
just
That's really cool that somebody else would get that because
it's the green
that's
glow.
right.
Yeah, we're made a lot of progress here at this point, and still not close to done. Beds, yay! Even bunk beds. See, this is what I was talking about earlier. The sheer level of detail that went to the inside of this thing is insane. It is like a miniature movie set.
It is.
If you had
It
a
is.
tiny, tiny camera, you could literally film like the beginning of like some kind of movie in this thing if you really needed to.
Yeah. Yeah. You could. Well, with what they give you, you could definitely do what's on the front of the box.
Yeah, yeah. I like the
Because
control
that's what it
panels.
shows on the front of the box. You can pretty much see almost all of this on the front of the box. It's
Wow.
amazing how they did that. Um, one of the figures is in a spacesuit. He stands out front,
Hmm.
and then one of the figures is like a captain guy that's standing inside.
This almost gives me a Millennium Falcon vibe with the beds, like the way it's padded and stuff. But I guess it's like space bed. What else do you do? Man,
Yeah,
green glow in the floor. That's crazy.
So that's where the scavenger is,
Yeah.
under the floor.
Just the layers of
So this is a
paint.
nice progression of that floor and what I did to achieve the colors.
By all means, anybody watching can pause if they need to stick around. We're just trying to get through it at this point, but it just looks so crazy.
I think that's a cool picture.
Yeah, it
I
is.
like that one.
Well, hell, it's not like any of them are bad. Well, it's funny when you look at it as you constructed it so far, and you've got all the interior stuff, and it's just like, where does all of this go? Is like, because you're just seeing it in progress. Um, it's almost like watching a show that has like, a spaceship, say the Enterprise or whatever, and you're like, okay, so we know we see the inside. Where is all this going? It's kind of the same thing with watching this model come together. So you see all these control panels, you see all these things, and he's like, okay, where the heck is this supposed to end up? Obviously, we're going to find out, but I like that. Okay, so you're drilling. I'm assuming you're drilling here for a wire to be going into that panel for control purposes, or is it like a
That's
bullet hole?
one of the tentacles from the scavengers can go in there.
Okay, that's what I figured. In a much bigger version here, drilled all the way through. I like that. I'm assuming that's for one of the fiber optic ones, because judging by
Yeah.
the size. There we go. It's just crazy to watch this come together. I like your perspective shots. Those are cool. Like looking back through the doorway.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really neat.
Putting all those wires on the outside, I have to give credit to someone else for. A friend of mine suggested that. Well, I thought it was a great idea. I'm glad he did.
This shot right
So
here.
you'll see the, what's that?
I was gonna say this shot right here actually does look like a movie set, like because there's no outer walls, like you're just seeing all the inner detail, so you'd only see it up close.
Oh yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. I never thought of it that way.
That's really what it looks like. It looks like a movie set, like you would just or TV show. And then there's all the wires lit up. That's awesome. Was it like a really like one really long USB cable, and you actually just pull that sheathing off?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. I only used only one USB cable was used in the making of this.
Yeah. Your audio did that thing again. That's okay. It was fine like forever, and then suddenly dropped. That was weird.
Only one cable was
Sacrificed.
yes.
Okay, so finally, we try to throw a big ass shell on the outside, and we'll just blow through this pretty quickly here.
Yeah, I took a lot of pictures.
Yeah, hey, it's fine. I mean, it's a hell of a project. It's not like it was a 2-week build like something I did. You know, it's beyond a labor of love at this point. Okay, so
That seemed like, man, God, I spent so much time on it. Yeah, you hardly ever see it.
yeah. Okay, so this was the hatch. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no hatch in it. That was almost all in the piece. So there's nothing in the actual model. There's nothing but space between that and the top.
Yeah.
So I had this problem with how am I going to marry those two? I thought, well, a hatch at the top would have a tunnel that goes to it. So I made a tunnel out of styrene. And those pieces are all, I mapped that out on the computer on SolidWorks. Figured out what size of piece, what the dimension of one side would be, and just cut out a bunch of them, 10 of them. It's a 10-sided shape.
A decagon.
Right.
I had to think about that. I was like, I had to think like, what is a 10-sided shape called?
It actually worked out really slick. I was wondering how I was going to be able to do it, and ended up just making that one. All I needed was one side, right? Because all 10 are the same.
Yeah, yeah.
So once I had the dimensions of all four sides of the one side I needed, then I could just cut it out of styrene, cut 10 more, and they all fit perfectly. And ta-da! Got it done.
Yeah, see, part of me would have just been like, 3-inch pipe. But this is so much cooler.
Well, yeah, except the problem was that the bottom was bigger than the top.
Oh, it flared out, yeah. And then there's the etched ladder. See, I was wondered, like I missed the etched metal parts, so obviously, and then the construction there, so that everything's braced up. That's cool. Little details I didn't notice when I saw this the first go around.
Then I also decided there should be one of the lights, so that there's 4 sections around that, right? That
Yeah.
would normally be lit. At least in the pictures I saw of this kid already built, it was lit all the way around. So I decided, well, maybe one light would still be lit. So I made a whole bunch more work for myself.
Like that one, yeah. It looks like a old like Simon game.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
It does.
I like
But
the.
of course, to achieve that, I had to build a box around that up there.
Yeah, to isolate it. Yep.
Yep.
And then the burn blast there. And there's the actual hatch door. Okay, so the one on the left is one you're.
So this is the back door.
Okay.
The one on the left would be the interior of the door, and the one on the right would be the exterior of the door.
Oh, so the airlock. Okay, I got it.
Right. So the one on the left would go on the interior section, and the one on the right would mount to the outer shell.
Like the one that was on the front of the bottom.
Right.
Okay.
I decided I wanted that door to be blown in. So I cut the door out of each section and then married them together so that I had a door.
Nice. And then built up the sides with the styrene sheet, which is crazy. Add actual dimensions and build a real frickin' door that nobody else would have thought to do. There's like two other.
And then I just destroyed it anyway.
Well, yeah, but you gotta build it up before you break it down. You gotta make it complete before you screw it up. Hey, your audio completely came back. Oh God, yeah, you completely. What'd you melt it with? A hot knife?
It gets worse. No, this is done with with what's called a solder reflow machine.
Okay, yeah.
Think of a hot air gun, but very small, about a 1/4-inch diameter.
Oh dear God! It looks like what happened to the T1000.
Right.
Yep. Nice. I did not see this part before. I saw you cut out the door frame, but I had not seen that. Then a light that got shot in. Or
that's actually where a tentacle goes in.
Well, it's either shot in or burned through with something. It's damaged.
There you go.
Freaking tentacles. Why does everything gotta have tentacles?
So there's 4 of these thrusters on each side.
Mm-hmm.
One on each side would have had to have been cut off in order for the top to spin.
Yeah.
So I cut 2 of them off.
Nice. I see. See, not knowing what the actual MLEV looked like complete, it's different. So I had no perspective of what it should 100% look like. Oh, more pipes. More pipes. Are those actual? Yeah, those are Y-wing pipes, right? Or some of them?
No, those are MLEV pipes.
Oh, they look very similar, especially the silver one. With the exception of the end piece, the actual like connector part. The butt connector. Wow. Detail, man. Like I want to build one of these now because of just the sheer amount of stuff. I'm not gonna do what you
It's a
did.
really cool kit. But don't let it fool you. It's nowhere close to a Bandai kit. Most of the parts don't fit very
Oh
well.
no, I had no illusions of that. It looks a lot like a good garage kit, basically.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's still injection plastic.
mhm,
Um, it was still a high production kit,
mhm.
but it's not. It's nowhere near the quality that you'd be used to in a Gundam.
No, by no means. And then okay, so these panels, that's just a lot of gorgeous mechanical detail.
So that's either side of the top hatch.
Yeah. Damn. Just that weathering, man. Blows me away.
And again, all done with the pens.
Yeah, even the like brownish weathering,
Yeah,
like the more it looks more oily rather than black. Is that a different color or is it
yeah,
a
yeah. I
okay?
use so I went over it first with black.
Uh-huh.
That's scrubbed off mostly,
Yeah.
and then I go over it again with dark sepia, which
Okay.
is a dark brown,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then again with raw umber, which
Okay.
is kind of a yellowish
Yes.
brown.
Yes. Um okay. I'm just processing. Cuz I'm thinking ahead of things that I want to do with these techniques. Okay, so what are we doing here? I just see a
This
big
is a piece of styrofoam I found in the closet.
oh, just nothing important. Just hunk of fire. Okay, so front view screen, so to speak, windscreen.
Yeah,
Uh,
so you see this. This is funny.
yeah,
That window.
yeah.
Um, so the makers of the MLab kit were really proud of their kit. You could tell by the way they packaged it.
Uh huh.
It was packaged very nicely. Um, the photo etch was in its own envelope and stuff like that. It was really nice.
Yeah.
This window was packaged in its own foam envelope and all taped up and really nicely taped to the bottom of the box, so it
Uh
couldn't go anywhere, couldn't rattle, couldn't get smashed by anything.
huh.
And then I cut it up so that I could use just little pieces of
Yeah. You broke it on purpose.
it.
Oh, I'm fairly
I laughed
certain.
about. I'm still laughing about
Well, the cool thing is now you've got broken window pieces for any projects, really.
it. Yeah.
I like that. Now, have do you know if the makers of this kit have seen your build yet?
No idea.
Because they need to. Like, I bet, regardless of the what you've done to it with the custom, and then the sheer
Yeah, I
amount
wonder
of
I
damage.
wonder whether they would enjoy it or cry.
Oh,
You
they would
know, and
one
I don't.
hundred
I
percent
don't
enjoy
quite
it, man.
know.
Dude, they would make a movie about it if they thought about it. I mean, it's crazy. And like your level of detail is just like, well, it's way beyond what an average builder would do. The sheer amount of
That decal. Oh my god.
oh, like the 5 is a decal.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
wouldn't even try.
Yeah.
Just paint.
That that was so difficult.
I don't even want to know. I don't even. I'm not processing
And
that.
not only is there that one, there's another one on the other side.
Yeah, I figured that part.
Two
It and the whole time, like it looks like it was designed. Yeah, there's some blood. It looks like it was designed as like a big helmet, like the way that the view screens are and stuff. It looks like
Oh yeah,
the emblem itself looks like a
yeah.
big astronaut helmet. It's crazy. Wow,
That would be the first lighting test to the bottom.
that's awesome. Just that. Actually, you know what? That looks like a crazy like Doc Brown style like think, thinking hat brain helmet. That's that. Yeah, you need to share this over on Tested. They would like eat this alive. Adam Savage would like want to be your best friend. Okay, we got
He's my
legs.
hero.
He's everybody's hero. Okay, so this is ransom style name badge.
Yeah, exactly. And somebody gave me crap about it. It's like, no, such a nice build, and then you just use. You're so cheap to use cutout newspaper lettering for the front. I'm like, well, yeah, this is like part of the theme. You know, Scott, I totally get it.
I liked it.
It.
I like that you used actual part of the kit box or instructions right there for that.
That V is, I cut that right out of the instructions.
Mm-hmm. I got the Cooper's part there. I was like, yeah. Oh, the foam is the actual. Okay.
Yeah, that block of foam was just a random piece of foam in my closet.
I just realized that that's your actual base.
And it fits by about a quarter of an inch on each corner.
Nice.
So, like I said, everything about this build just kind of
it happened.
Yeah,
the way it should have. Yeah. It's crazy. Connectors.
Even the wood strips I used around that were scraps I had in my closet that just so happened to be that high. And
it's so funny. Yeah, it does come down to the lettering. Is like I could see why that throws people off. I mean, it threw me off, but I didn't understand the theme at the time. Now I get it.
Yeah, it's appropriating whatever is possible.
I like what you got building up the terrain here.
If I had named it something else, then it would have been completely different. So now we're getting towards the nitty gritty here, and I'm figuring out how heavy that top piece is.
Very.
So that's when I started. I think this is when I started making the struts for the legs.
Yeah. And that's just some nice lighting there from the outside. I like the picture here. The family picture looks like it's sticking up out of it. That's funny. So that's just like what, plaster cloth thrown over newspaper and stuff wadded up.
Yeah.
So basically, like paper mache, basically.
Yeah.
Now you're just getting.
Again, those I had in my closet. I've done along with building planes, trains, automobiles. I've also done train layouts. I know how to do scenery. Of course, I'd forgotten most of it. These were kind of scary, so I decided I needed anchors. So
yeah.
I made anchors, like fence posts, basically.
Yeah, I remember you saying that in the post.
Got these posts set in the right position and dug around them and filled them in with epoxy.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. That way the legs don't want to try to move. Yeah, I would not have trusted the legs not to move on that base.
Yeah, it's really scary. And each one of those legs is pretty heavy.
Yep.
And they want to stand. They don't want to stand the way I got them.
I feel like we're going through the same pictures again. Yep, we are.
Yeah, what happened there?
I don't know. I was progressing forward and it suddenly started repeating itself. Perhaps the person who uploaded them uploaded the same things. Come on.
No.
No, see, this is a new picture. So yeah, you doubled up on your pictures by accident.
Damn.
Okay, so now we're throwing in some sand and whatnot. Nice. Now some grassy color. Different stuff. That's basically how to build up fake ground 101 is what that was.
It was. I put in all the materials into the pictures.
There's a good shot of the hatch door blown in. Like you can actually see it where it landed. Because before we just saw the construction, not where it ended up. Okay, so there's your new support tubes you're gonna add. Your new fake pistons.
Yep.
Okay, so inner workings, people getting assembled.
There they are.
Oh, that huge! Wow.
Yeah.
Like if you were to look at that mechanically, you'd be like, yeah, there's no way that's actually doing anything it should. It's like, what's the point of all the other hinges? But no, it's actually doing something that it needs to do.
Yeah, if you look at the angles of that, that's exactly where I needed the support.
Yeah.
It transfers all the weight straight down into the leg.
Given your engineering background, yeah. Look at it, it's all lit up. It's done on the top half. It's so crazy looking, dude.
Yeah, I think that was first lighting test for the top.
Like just the top half, it could easily just be a top floating half of a thing. Like you don't even need the bottom. It's like, this is what I got left. I'm gonna make it work. Oh, that's kind of funny. You got it sitting in the background. It's like, no. It's like being standoffish. Yeah. It's like,
That was the night before. I had put the epoxy on the legs to mount the legs.
Yeah.
But it ended up too late to actually do anything with it. So for the end of the evening, I took that one picture and posted that and said, well, this is as close as we get for today.
It was teasing you at that point. Man, those are some bright-ass lights, man. That's awesome. Like, as I'm just watching it come together, different photos. Oh, we're back at the beginning. All right, finally, completed pictures. Because I figured there weren't any more progress pics at this point.
No.
So, I'm going to have to either download all of these or you're going to have to send them to me at some point. Well, actually, I don't know. It should come across pretty good. I'm only going to need a couple of the finished product, I guess. All right, so fully lit up, even the crotch light. I don't think we've even noticed the crotch light come on at any point. And it's in the photo booth, which it barely fits in.
It does, just barely.
What is the overall height? Somewhere in the like 28, 29 inches?
It's 20 inches.
Okay. That's over. Yeah, I'm measuring like a man, just adding those extra inches.
It's 16 by 18 by 20.
Okay. And did you were saying earlier, so does it actually rotate at the brake or no?
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember if you said that it did. It does. It looks like it should.
Yeah, you can see it there that it's rotated. And it is as well.
I wasn't sure. It does look like it's looking at me.
Right. So the 4 lower lights are facing forward.
Yeah.
2 upper lights are facing at you.
That's where you feel like it is the head, like it is turning to look.
Yeah.
Dude, this is so freaking cool.
Since these pictures were taken, I put some plates in the inside that blocks the view to the interior from through the cut.
Oh,
so
yeah.
As you're looking at it now, if you look, when I first looked at these pictures, I didn't really notice it either, but you can look right through the cut into the bottom section in these pictures.
Yeah. I like the big exposed
so I
open
put
hatch.
some black plates. This is a good example.
Yeah, right there. Here. Yeah. Makes sense. Yep.
So I put some black plates in there. You can't see through there anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. At least a good thing is that at this point it's modular.
Oh, yeah, you can just lift that top right off.
Looking down through the hatch hole. In some ways, like the way that the Scavenger has done its thing where it's broken through and everything like that, really reminds me of one of the custom builds from my charity contest earlier this year. The theme was testicular cancer, but you were using either balls or harrow to build. And the guy did an entire diorama of white blood cells attacking infected cancer cells and stuff like that, and he molded all these things, and then he made like what we called a portal to hell, and that was like, this big like pustule looking thing, and he had it all lit up and cracks going throughout the ground and stuff. It was really impressive. But I'm getting a lot of those similar vibes with the way that you have it constructed. There's
So
the
back up
blood.
one picture there.
Sure, sure.
There's
the arm. The arm. Okay. I saw it. It didn't register. Wait, whose arm is that?
The arm on the floor.
No, whose arm is it? Like, is it the guy that's in the... Or is it just
It's one of the original astronauts.
Okay, so the guy... So there's the one that's locked away in the thing.
Right.
But then he should have had a partner who's no longer around.
Right.
Okay.
And that's where all the blood came from.
Yeah. So the scavenger is the thing that has taken over the overall mech.
Right.
Okay.
So the scavenger took the MLEV.
Yeah.
Brought it to Earth, and that's so. If you look at the legs, they're colored like military colors. They came from a military base.
Yeah.
Whereas the MLEV came from NASA or whatever.
Okay. I gotcha. It's just crazy, man. The level of detail.
If you go one picture back, I think that's probably my favorite picture in this whole set.
That one?
Yeah. I love that picture.
Why is that?
It just looks wicked to me.
I mean, I'm not arguing that it doesn't look cool. I didn't know if there's something you're seeing that I'm not seeing. I like this one in particular because you got the blood here on the hatch door.
Yeah.
Splatted. I like that a little bit more. Like, I would have put some like creepy like horror filter on that and like use that as the thumbnail, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some really cool perspective shots. And obviously, whatever you're taking the pictures with is great.
It's my phone.
Okay, I figured as much, but because I've taken some really good shots with mine.
Yeah, I think the phones take a really good picture. It's really the photo booth that does it.
Yeah, well, because I've got my review set, which kind of is basically a photo booth at this point.
So there's a look at what the original MLEV is supposed to look like.
Oh, so that would have been useful for me to see initially. But that's okay. That's the whole landing gear thing you were talking about, hanging out the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you're going to do some crazy stuff with that. I didn't expect it to be that much stuff. So did you repurpose the ladders from there, or were the ladders that you did use for that? Okay. That's freaking cool.
Yeah, so all the lights I put up on the MLEV itself were on those landing gear.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so there's your basic. Like, how do we get to the bit? We're back at the beginning. Somehow we're not even in the same folder. We're back at. Okay, so it is just the source bits. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, and then now I that's the first shot.
On the ends of my photo shoot albums, I always tack on the original kit.
That's cool. Okay, going back to us. There we go. We're back. We've been looking at plastic all this time. It's okay. Nobody wanted to see our faces.
I wouldn't want to see mine.
Oh, I gotta stretch. It's been a long day.
I'm about ready to kick it.
I've been ready for it, man. But this has just been a lot of fun for me. Like, just like talking to you briefly through comments or through Facebook Messenger is one thing, and checking the pictures out. But actually hearing your process, seeing you go through it through all these pictures and stuff, like, is ridiculous. At least for me, as a, I would still say, an up and coming builder. I have some skills, but like, I've always got more to learn. And this is one reason I do these builder showcases. Like, guys, this is the stuff you can do, and you're not really using anything crazy. Even, I mean, some of your tools are things that most people don't have, but the application is still easy enough that even, if you're at intermediate level, it's not something you can't learn to do. And
Uh, I would disagree with one thing. The tools. I
yeah,
don't use anything that most people don't. The only thing I've used that most people wouldn't be able to get it would be the solder reflow machine for that door.
yeah,
But
that
even that,
you
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 can
can
do it
make
with
that
other
happen.
things.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking like
Yeah,
the metal bending thing you've got there, but it's still nothing that somebody couldn't find another way to do. Um,
correct. A
yeah,
lot
so
of people do photo etch with just a pair of pliers.
yeah, because I've got some like very little photo etching with my perfect grade Millennium Falcon that I'll have to do, but I think those are very small things. I don't even think there's any, or if there is, there's like very small bending to do in it. But like it's one thing that I try to explain to some with people. Like once again, I'm not anything ridiculous. I don't know much more than other people, but it's just like the practical application of a skill, it's all learnable. Somebody could learn it even
Mhm.
by just like I haven't watched you do it, in a video or in person, but seeing your progress and your pictures, it makes sense. Seeing what tools you're working with and the end result, you can literally put the two and two together and get there. With
Yes.
either
And
washing
and
or
like I say, I always try to include the tools in my work in progress
yeah,
pictures so that you can get an idea of how I went about doing things.
yeah, and it's one of those things that novice builders or beginners are always scared. They're like they see something like what you just did and like there's no way I could ever be that good. And it's like it's just time and effort. Like
Nonsense.
yeah, it's time and effort. Like okay, forget the creativity part, but the skills applied, it's all just time and effort.
Yep.
If you sit down and you do it, a basic wash, multi-layered wash, dry brushing, the particular chipping technique you used, it's doable. I mean, people are impressed by my busted Haro back there, which is just an execution of multi-layered paints and chipping, and then a very crappy wiring job. But it's very similar in a lot of ways to what you did to this with the battle damage and planning it out, and adding undersurface details to things that might be exposed later. It's all stuff that wasn't hard. It's just the
No.
amount of work you do to get there, you know. And
Yep.
I explain that a lot. And that's what I hope a lot of people gathered from. Hopefully, they watch all of this. I know it's a long video. I don't care. I'm having fun. It's what I told you. It's like I don't care if it's long, as long as I'm having fun. And I appreciate you actually taking the time to sit down. I know you got off work and just basically had to sit down, but you got to have a beer and other
No problem,
stuff.
man.
and and it's been fun to actually talk to you. I hope we get to do it again later, with slightly less technical issues. Um, but like because you've got so much more that we could possibly go through, and I'll share your Facebook page, and if there's anything else you want to plug, or if you have any other social media,
I,
if,
I do this for the joy of the hobby and because it's fun.
yeah,
Um, I rarely enter contests. I rarely promote my work. It's really just for fun and try to promote the hobby and get other people into it.
yeah,
Um, it's Gundam is kind of breathing a new life into the plastic model hobby. As an older person, I've seen where things are going,
hmm
and you know, there's not many train guys out there anymore, and
no,
there's not
that's
many World War II modelers out there anymore.
yeah,
And
it's the old guys, and that's it.
yep, and so Gundam's kind of breathing new life into this hobby, and I'm just doing what I can to try to further it and have fun myself.
Oh, of course. One thing I'm really hoping, because Bandai seems to be picking up more and more licenses per year, that they're going to get a lot more other IPs along the way that could really benefit from their molding, their model planning, their snap fit. ideas. You know, I particularly want Star Trek. I know they'll probably never crack into that, but I want some Bandai level detail Star Trek kits with lighting and all that stuff like that.
That'd be cool.
Because
That'd be really cool.
their Star Wars kits are amazing. Even the figures are amazing. And Battlestar Galactica would be another one I would love. Both both series would be great.
So here's one I watched that as it was aired.
Yeah, the original. What was it? 79? I can't remember when that was. It's old.
Oh, yeah, it would have been late 70s.
It was before my time. I know that. Like I was not born yet for that one. But
yeah. And you know that there was no recording it. I had to.
You had to watch it, yeah. And another thing, I don't know if you're interested in them, but Flame Toys is also doing a really good job with SnapFit Transformers kits.
Yeah, Transformers don't do much for me.
Well, maybe not the.
What I see designs and then gravitate towards them.
Well, that's what I was.
Doesn't really matter where.
But that's what I was getting at, is that maybe the design of some of the figures, because they don't transform. They're just like Gundam kits. They're really good and have like some really good detail, and they're doing more and more and more. And they're like the only company that has a license to do Transformer stuff outside of Hasbro. It's really cool. But if they ever come up, you know, they're really neat and still simple and beg for details. And that's why I enjoy doing them, and there's a few more I need to get. But you know, if you hadn't seen them, they're just an interesting IP and interesting designs for other cool robots. And I'll probably
check it out.
Yep. I'll send you some.
I've built a couple of what is it? I can't pronounce
Kotobukiya. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the hell it is.
They've got a lot of stuff. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, I've built a couple of their kits. They're pretty nice. Not quite the Bandai quality, but close.
I just wanted to. I don't know how well it'll show, but since it's in line, kind of. If my camera.
Oh, that's cool.
My busted.
That's way cool.
And so you can see the rusted ass detail on the inside. And then.
Yeah, I like that.
The light. It's just a candle LED broken down.
Yeah.
So it flickers like it's dying or still living, however you want to look at it. But that's
cool.
Yeah, that was a super fun build, and it only took me like a day. Day and a half. Anyways, that's not bragging. But guys, I hope you have all enjoyed watching this. If you did, by all means, if you want to see more of his stuff, it'll all be linked down below. Go check it out on the Facebooks. Just go check it out. And if you're a member of Boom Hut, I almost said Model Hut. It's like, that's how late it is. It's Model Hut time. By all means, welcome if you're just now seeing my stuff. And if you guys want to come show your stuff off, by all means. I love talking to modelers and showing off other people's stuff. I show my builds all the damn time. And this is the most phenomenal build that I've gotten to look at so far. And that's saying a lot, considering some of the cool stuff.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
thank you,
dude. It's amazing. Like, and that's I want other people to see it and appreciate it. And I told a few people that I had an interview to do tonight. I'm like, just so I'd like tease them, like they don't know what they're gonna get to see, so they can just be like, boom, there we go. It's like that. This is the kind of stuff that you guys could be doing if you just apply yourself. Is like my buddy Eric, every project he wants to learn a new skill and up things. So I got him into Boom Hut so that he could see what other guys, even like more beyond skill levels, were doing. And he's just he's a Gundam builder like me. So, you know, he wants to learn the weather. He wants to do lighting. He wants to do more scratch building. He wants to build his own little walker. And I pointed him at your scavenger. And I was like, look, go check that out. And then when I built, you know, this guy the other day, you know, there was it was somewhere in between what you did and what he wants to do. He wants to do a bipedal walker, scratch built from Gundam parts, and I'm like, okay, go look at this thing to give you an idea of how you can kit bash and throw stuff together to come up with something cool. So
Another good example would be Gundam Ed.
Gundam Ed.
Yeah, it's on the Romper Stompers.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a person. Well, let me go look. Let me go look just real quick. We're gonna cut this short because I know it's late. But now I want to see this as I'm talking to you. Maybe I'll make it a teaser for something later.
That's probably my favorite kit bash that I've done. I really like it.
Okay.
Has a mech warrior kind of feel to it.
Why am I not seeing? Oh, because I didn't click on see all. I was wondering why I couldn't see more albums. Okay, so there's your Sosby coming soon. Timeline photos. Providence. Yeah, how many kits are you working on currently?
I only work on one kit at a time.
Okay, I was wondering. Okay. Gundam Ed. Oh, okay. Way down here. 120 Gundam Ed. Oh, that's fun. Guys, just go. I'm not going to pull it up right now, but you can see my face as I'm looking at it. Oh, that is so cool. Oh, guys, seriously, go over to Z's Romper Stompers and look at this thing.
It's the only Gundam powered by a VW engine.
It's okay. So I promise I did not see this before building mine, but there's so many similarities. Are those legs or are those arms off of something? Like the actual? No, those are legs. Okay, I had to look at it at an angle. I love the bazookas, the twin bazookas. Oh, that's so fun.
Those are from the same kit that the rockets are on the Scavenger.
Yeah.
Those bazookas are from the HWS kit for the new. They're a resin kit by Simp.
Oh yeah. We only barely got those before Hobbytown shut down. What did the actual cockpit bubble come from?
That's from a MAK kit called Camel.
Okay, I thought I was getting the MAK vibe from that. That is so cool. And the turbines. What were those from?
Those are 3D printed.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Those requires a lot of work.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Guys, go look at this thing. Go get inspiration because like it's just work. It's creativity and it's work and it's just playing around with stuff. It's fine. Go do it.
Yeah, and there's a great work in progress album for that one as well.
Yep.
It'll show you a lot of stuff that I did to that.
Okay, I'm silly. It's still up on the screen. Hold on. What did I? Oh, I didn't. How did I manage that? I still did the same thing. So they did actually get to see all that. It's fine. It's fine. Got to change this back over.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. So that actually. I will no, because it didn't come across on StreamYards. It came across on the thing. So all that stuff I did earlier, it's still jacked up. I don't care anymore. I did all that for nothing. It's fine. It's like it's what either editing is for or whatever. It's late at night. Who cares? But guys, thumbs up all the things. It's time to go.
Yeah.
Go show this some love. Go check out his albums and stuff like that. If you have any questions, just ask. Or
I'm always happy to answer questions.
Don't bother him by any means, but ask him some questions. He's a cool dude. And of course, once again, thanks for sitting down and talking with me. I know it's not everyone's forte, but once you really get into the meat of it, I could hear the passion as you're talking about it. That's how I know you loved what you were doing, and that matters. That matters a lot. So, guys, have a great one. Whatever day this comes out, awesome. Have a great Christmas. Everything. It's cool. I don't even know when this is going to come out, but it's going to come out before the end of the year. I know that much. So, sorry. I'm looking at all the stuff I have to crop off because it's zoomed out in a weird way. Guys, remember, as always, keep on nerding, to keep on building, and let's keep building this community together so we can have more awesome people like him in it. And I'll see you.
Folks.
Bye, guys.